Yo, woo! This is a heavy word, y'all. I'm happy. I'm feeling good. When you feel good and you look good, life is great, right? Okay, so I just want to give you guys a warning, okay, for the people who are triggered. And mind you, if you're ever triggered, just know you are being triggered because God is saying this is a thing that needs to be overcame. You have to overcome this thing, and the Lord is also trying to deliver you from that thing, okay? So, with a trigger warning, the Lord said that there was a thing that happened to someone. If this word is for you, ask the Lord to confirm it, y'all. If it's not for you, He's going to tell you click off, right? You're going to know because there's going to be resistance. The enemy is going to be, there's going to be a tugging in your spirit to ignore it, and then there's going to be another tugging to receive it, okay? If this word is for you, the Lord is highlighting something that happened within your childhood that you're not open to talk about, whether it be with a therapist, whether it be with God, and the Lord is highlighting Himself. You don't even want to talk about it with the Lord, right? Some people are angry at God for this thing happening because we know that God is Alpha and Omega and beginning and end, and that He does have control where He can override scenarios, for us, but oftentimes He doesn't for the chosen. Okay, I'm not even going to talk about the call, but if this word is for you, you are chosen. You are set aside for such a time as this. All right. So I think this has to do with a sexual assault, right? That happened early on in childhood. Okay, I would say even not even teenage years, but if it is teenage years, then so be it. But I'm going to be very specific in this. The Lord reminded me of the trauma that I experienced when I was 4 years old. This is why I said trigger warning, because I'm going to get detailed in this. When I was 4 years old, I was held down by two of my sisters because my mom told them to do that. They held my legs open for my mother's, and she assaulted me using a spoon, taking my virginity, right? So over the years, I received deliverance, right? But the Lord started off my deliverance with like the things that happened when I was like 22, 23, 21, 19, 18, 17. And it was just like he started off from what recently happened all the way down way back when, right? And for some people, some of y'all have even gotten deliverance for like the things that recently happened, but the things that happened way back then is just too hard to talk about. You don't want to talk about it. So that is causing an open door. So the enemy has an open door due to this thing that you experience early on in childhood that you won't talk about. So you're wondering, okay, if I have this down, I know how to war, I know how to do this spiritually, I know how to do that. There, that open door from that thing that happened when you were a child is causing the enemy to still get in and to still attack you, to still mess with your mental. So the Lord is saying this door has to be shut. Now, I talked about my deliverance and how it took 6 months. Now, my deliverance took 6 months, and what it looked like was us meeting on a Thursday or a Friday of every week for 6 months. We met from 12 until 7 o'clock at night. So it really depends on how much time you're putting in your deliverance, on how much it's going to be pulled off and how long it's going to take. Say we met every week on that Thursday or Friday for an hour, that would have been double the time, right? So that my deliverance would have took maybe 2 years, 2.5 years to fully get everything out. Okay. So with that being said, the Lord wants to deliver you of this thing, right? Whatever that is. And I really just feel like it has to do with, a negative sexual experience due to it could have been a family member. It could have been like, my case, it could have been just, a stranger. It could have been just someone doing that to you. And um, the Lord was I was talking to someone about soul ties. When the Lord first started waking me up, I had a soul tie from this guy. We did it, and then I started crying. I was like, this is not me, this is him. And I called him in the morning. I said, you were crying last night? And he was like, yeah. So even soul ties are exchanged in those type of circumstances, and the Lord has to go in and sever that thing and deliver, and there has to be clarity. I talked about a while back, and when I was so angry at God, you can go to God in your anger. You can go to Him with all the emotions that you truly feel and tell Him, I didn't like this. So the first thing I did, I'm like, wow, my God, I didn't expect to say all this. But the first thing I did when I went to God with my mom sexually assaulting me was, you gave me this mother. Why did you give me this mother? Like, you could have had someone else birth me. And then, okay, why did you, from there, he was just like, just how Joseph had the siblings he had, but in the end, they didn't like Joseph's heart's posture. But in the end, Joseph overcame it. And then when it was time for them to need him, his heart never changed. To sum it up, God knew your heart wouldn't change, right? That your kindness was still going to be there, that your humility, that your humbleness, whatever. He knew all the fruits of the Spirit were going to be maintained after you went through this trial, this testing, right? And then after that, I was like, well, um, after I said, why'd you give me the mom? I was like, why'd you let it happen? So I was like, so why'd you even let her get to the point to where she was even able to take my virginity? Because I'm like, once the virginity is gone, physical virginity, it can never be given back. Like, there's not gonna be a moment when I can get intimate with a dude to be fresh down there for him. So I got frustrated at that. And he said, there's free will. You have free will. Everybody has free will. I'm not a controlling God. I don't control. If I was controlling, everybody would serve me whether they wanted to or not. So I was like, okay, fair game. So it's just things like that, that, and then I came to found an appreciation because, like I said, it was with the spoon. Starting off, when she let me know she was about to assault me, the spoon was not the first object that was grabbed, and it could have been way worse. Is what I'm trying to say. It could have been way worse than that, and maybe even my insides would have been damaged, and I would have never been able to bear children. So it's just things like that to where, and then the other thing I asked was, what made her even think to do something insane like that? And then he told me that the first thought initially was sent from the enemy. The enemy was able to plant a seed of this crazy idea, and without it being fought properly, because she tried to fight it in flesh, right? Without it being spiritually fought, it was able to manifest. So it's just things like that. These are the revelations that I personally got, and I went to him, like I said, in anger. This wasn't like oh Lord, why? It was like, so why? So why this? So why that? I was just so angry at God because why did you do all that? You know what I mean? And every single question that I asked, he answered gracefully. He elaborated in that thing. But if I had not took my anger to him, if I had not took my thought process, my honest thought process, without filtering it, and sometimes I explained before, not that I'm motivating anyone to do that, but if that's all the words that you can come up with, I've even took my curse words to God before when I was angry, and cursing, okay, to get your point across, and cursing at God is two different things. I just want to clarify on that. I never just sat up there and just blah, 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 and like, no. I've been too fearful. I feel like he would strike me down. But anyways, but yeah, yeah, being brutally honest with God and letting him know, like, this thing hurt me and I didn't like that. The Lord was very specific on exactly what was said to my mother when she did that. And yeah. So it's just things like that. You guys have to really go to God unfiltered. Or if the Lord sends someone to sit there and listen, because I literally did this exercise with a friend of mine. And wow, my God, it had to do with the same thing. And this is a while back. I completely forgot about that. And I was praying as she was talking, and she said that she received revelation, and it was the same thing. She had dealt with an assault at a very young age, and in that moment of her just sitting there talking it out, she got immediate revelation. She's like, wow, so this person was really trying to protect me, but the other person came in and harmed me. So the Lord had gave her clarity in that to help heal her. So you guys, just whoever this is for, just please take that thing up to God. Like I said, it's an open door. The enemy is getting in and able to do things to you now due to this open door. And until it is closed, many things are not happening. Okay, so if you're one of those people that you're specifically standing for a kingdom marriage, it's at a standstill, because if this door is open but you receive deliverance in all these other categories, that door that is open can be used to come against your husband or your wife. You get what I'm saying? So the Lord, and this is what the Lord had given me. This is not, I'm not just making something up. The Lord has specifically told me that when I was at the hair store getting my hair, because I'm about to braid my hair. But he was like, let them know that this thing can be used to come against their union. You know what I mean? Did you forgive your past? It's not so much of forgiving the past, it's forgiving the people who committed the trespasses in the past. And it's not even so much of them. You have to look at this in the spirit, that there was a demon used to offend you in the circumstance. In whatever situation, it was a demon operating in them to offend you, you know? So it's not so much a be mad at the person, you know what I mean? And at the time of me having the conversation, I just explained, I knew nothing about that. So I was just offended at my mom, my mom, my mom. But anyways, you guys, I hope this helps you. And another thing is quit, because for years I tried to trick myself. I tried to trick myself into thinking like, okay, I really forgive her. I really forgive her. At some point I was like, I don't forgive her. And I don't forgive her for these reasons. And then the Lord was able to, God can work with truth. God can work with honesty, but sugarcoating, you know, faking, God cannot, he's not going to work with that. He's not going to meet with the mass version of you. He's going to meet with the real you. He's going to meet with the thing that you thought first, not the second thought, but the first bad thought you was thinking. He's going to meet with that. He's going to meet with your pure heart. I'm telling you, I tried to several times to sugarcoat it. I tried to filter it out. God meets, thank you, Holy Spirit, with the unfiltered you. So yeah. All right. Like, share, and subscribe. I have many words that I have to put out today, you guys. So I'm probably just gonna be on and off, on and off, on and off. I really want to get up here looking cute though, but it's okay. Clock it.